Are you a huge wrestling fan? Do you wear the t-shirts, attend live events, and use WWE catchphrases on a daily basis? If you find some hesitation in any of these actions, then it may be because you are slightly embarrassed to be a wrestling fan. And who can blame you when the following 10 moments live on wrestling history forever? 10 things that made us embarrassed to be wrestling fans. Vince versus God. There is no denying that Vince McMahon has an ego problem, but in 2006, he revealed how big that ego could actually be. During a feud with Shawn Michaels, McMahon decided to mock Michaels' connection with God and actually booked God in a tag team match against himself and Shane McMahon. The idea was offensive, fell flat, and showcased how important Vince really sees himself. The match actually featured an entrance for God as a white spotlight shined on the stage. The Big Boss Man Attitude Era storylines. The Big Boss Man character in the 1990s was a fun cop that feuded with the likes of Hulk Hogan and the Mountie. The Big Boss Man of the Attitude Era was completely transformed. He cooked Al Snow's dog and fed it to him. He dragged the Big Show's father's casket through a cemetery. He was hung by a noose after a match at WrestleMania. These outlandish moments are just many that the Big Boss Man has been a part of. The Brawl for All. WWE is known as sports entertainment. There's no reason to mix reality with wrestling, but that's exactly what happened when they hosted a boxing tournament known as the Brawl for All. The tournament was a boring mess that took a lot of time from Raw, injured multiple superstars, and became even more embarrassing when the winner, Bart Gunn, was knocked out by Butterbean in a matter of minutes at WrestleMania. Crappy champions. Holding a world championship is a privileged honor that should only be given to wrestlers that have earned that spot and won it rightfully. Too bad that's not always the case. David Arquette held the WCW championship. Hornswoggle killed the Cruiserweight division. Vince McMahon held both the WWE and ECW championships. Just these examples alone are things that wrestling bookers and fans should be ashamed of. The exploitation of dead wrestlers. The world of pro wrestling is full of a lot of sudden death and sad losses. It only gets worse when WWE takes advantage of these losses and uses them for profit and entertainment purposes. Eddie Guerrero, Brian Pillman, Owen Hart, and Paul Bearer have been exploited after their passings. It's a shame that their lives were not honored properly, and instead were used as ways to fuel storylines and create high ratings. Exploitation of women. The current state of the WWE reflects a women's division with pride and respect, but that wasn't always the case. Scantily clad matches, disgusting storylines, and general exploitation of women has been a part of WWE for years. From Trish Stratus barking like a dog to countless bikini contests, it was really embarrassing for adults and children to see this kind of behavior week after week. The Katie Vick storyline. When Triple H accused Kane of murder, no one truly knew how far the story would go. If you're a pro wrestling fan, then you may cringe when you hear the name Katie Vick. Not only was Kane accused of killing this fictional person, but Triple H reenacted a scene of Kane getting sexual with a dead body. It was more perverted than funny, and very uncomfortable moment for wrestling fans. The Chris Benoit murder-suicide. One of the worst mainstream headlines the WWE ever got was after the double murder-suicide conducted by Chris Benoit. It brought nothing but a negative focus on the WWE, their wellness program, and the steroid scandal that has plagued the industry for years. What Chris Benoit did was horrific, and the fact that he was an active member of the WWE roster at the time did little to help the reputation of pro wrestling. Hulk Hogan's real-life drama. Hulk Hogan has been the face of pro wrestling for years. This is why it's so troubling when a legend like Hogan becomes the face of scandal. First came the sex tape that was released to the masses and eventually led to a very public trial. After that, secret tapes were released of Hogan using racial slurs. It all looks bad for a man that WWE has used for several years to promote the company. The plane ride from hell. It's hard to defend the cliches of pro wrestling when you hear a story like the plane ride from hell. Traveling back from a SmackDown show in England, Vince McMahon made the mistake of renting a private jet for the whole roster. Mr. Perfect fought Brock Lesnar in the aisles. Goldust sang over the loudspeakers, and Kurt Angle even tussled with McMahon for a bit. Rumors of this flight spread for weeks and showcased the immature and embarrassing ways that wrestlers can act. Well, there it is. What moment was the most embarrassing? Is there any that we missed? Does this still make you proud to be a wrestling fan? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to The Sportster on YouTube.